Welcome listeners to another COHUTT Radio Channel podcast. COHUTT is a new flexible office space. We offer desks, private offices, spaces and more. Think of us as your turnkey office solution provider, merging the best of office leasing and co-working solutions to make your life easier. Today we welcome Daish Malani from Healthtech Technologies, one of our resident members. Healthtech Technologies is a company specifically focused on helping people with their rehabilitation in cognitive ability, fine motor skills, and coordination through the use of emerging technologies such as virtual and immersive reality. Hi Daish, how are you?
Hi Peter, I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Not bad, thanks. It's a beautiful sunny day today, Friday 30th of August, and the show starts today as well.
Oh great, I haven't been to the show in a while, and so that's exciting.
Hopefully some of the listeners are part of the people that are taking part in the competition on Instagram, and we're going to notify them later on Instagram. So Daish, tell us, what do you enjoy about being a COHUTT resident?
There's a friendly atmosphere in here, and being in this part of the city is amazing. It's you have all the access to the city, but none of the stress of trying to find a park that you do in most of the other areas. Being in a virtual reality company, obviously we have to pick up computers, and we have to move things in and out of the office fairly regularly, and this provides us with so much more convenience in that format. But it's just a nice area of the city anyway. I think it's less discovered than other areas, but it just has a relaxing vibe.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. Really appreciate that. So tell us a bit more about your business. Tell us what public good does your service provide?
Well, we make a couple of versions of virtual reality rehabilitation. We have one model that is designed to go directly to a patient who's finished their acute stage rehabilitation and they're going home. And in the rehabilitation space, regardless of what stage someone is at a certain point, they will just be required to go home. And they often feel abandoned and they have little option for exercise. And so we're giving them, on their end, a way to do engaging and interesting exercises that are mimicking what they would do in their traditional rehabilitation. And then on the clinician side, they get to see all the data of a patient, so they're not losing that connection between a patient, between visits. So the idea is it's going to be great for everyone.
That's really exciting. Actually, we should get more people visiting and interacting with you so they actually see what you do. When you actually see it firsthand, it's really amazing. So, what's your unique proposition?
Our unique proposition is basically to fill in the gaps for what traditional rehabilitation has been lacking in the past. And so the idea is, in a very affordable way, that we can do rehabilitation for the price of probably about 2 days of regular rehabilitation for a whole year if we need to. But the real unique part is being able to bridge the gap between the times that people are coming into a healthcare facility, which are basically black spots on their history in current rehabilitation, but we can actually provide data what people are up to in that time.
In which markets are you working in presently? Is it just Adelaide, interstate, overseas? Have you got any other aspirations?
We've partnered with the Brain Institute in Melbourne, and they are probably Australia's largest medical centre specifically designed to research what's happening in your brain and acquired brain injury. And so we're going to go into clinical trials over there. We've done clinical trials here in South Australia. And we're going to be going to France in October to meet people in the similar space over in France. About 18 months ago we did India as well, and every country seems to have their own take on rehabilitation, and also the population density is a really big factor for their need to use these new emerging technologies. So we're trying everything. We're going to be all over the world hopefully at one point. But our home base will always be South Australia.
And what other partners do you have at the moment? Are there anyone else you're partnering with, or is that all under wraps at the moment?
It's a little bit under wraps. We're going to be storing a lot of big data on physical movement data and cognitive skill data. We're deciding who the partner will be at the moment. We've done a few trials. We had some lucky enough to have some companies that let us trial inside their system. And we're working out the best fit for both of the companies into the future.
So that sounds pretty exciting with some of the aspects coming up, and especially a trip to France. So would definitely like to hear more, and maybe have another podcast with you when you come back from France, actually.
Sure, that sounds good.
So what motivates you every morning to get up?
Well, I get to play with virtual reality, really, and it has a social outcome that I'm pleased to be part of. And so it's nice to have a job that when it's in full swing will completely change the lives of some people who are in a horrific situation right now, and then they are lacking in hope. And so to bring that hope to them is a very exciting reason to get up in the morning. Plus I get to play with lots of computers and things, which tech nerds like me love to do. So a combination of those two things.
Well, that sounds great. Some social good and also some using some of the latest tech. In 5 years, where do you see yourself and or your company?
Well, we'd like to get our rehabilitation technique built into many different countries' rehabilitation pathway. We want it to be the norm rather than a new technology. And so people transition into this kind of thing quite easily, and we want them to be introduced at a very early stage. Plus the other health benefits of doing this kind of exercise way before you've had something like a stroke or acquired brain injury. So I can see actually people doing this as a daily exercise outside of the brain injury circle. So those are the two kind of focus areas.
And tell us, do you have some favourite foods and or coffees or drinks or anything? Tell us what you like.
I am a big pho noodle soup lover, and when it comes to coffee, I'm pretty much a black coffee drinker. I will every now and then fluctuate into a dash of milk, but I get up and I usually just have a cup of black coffee. That's what kickstarts me also on the day.
Well, thank you, Daish. Thank you for your time today. A pretty exciting business that you've got there, especially with the social good that it does. And we'd really like to do another podcast with you on your return from France and tell us hopefully of some of the great partnerships and findings that you have over there.
All right, well, great. Thanks for the interview and thanks for having me in COHUTT.
Listeners, stay tuned for more interviews with residents and some special guests. Get to know more about COHUTT Flexible Spaces on www.cohutt.space. That's COHUTT.SPACE. Or follow us on Instagram or Twitter with our handle @COHUTT Space. Thank you.